because it's got double meaning. But anyway, greetings to you all. Wishing you all a happy new day that we're in. And yes, CitizenAY here. Please subscribe to CitizenAY on YouTube. Help us grow the platform. Help us reach more people. Those of you on TikTok, on my platform, where we have currently 43,000 followers, I'd like you to join me right here on YouTube. TikTok are playing games with my platform. I'm getting they're restricting people from gifting me. They're making it difficult for people to share my broadcast. I'm not abusing anything. I'm just speaking truth to power, and they're making things difficult. So greetings and welcome. Welcome to CitizenAY. Yes, I'm going for a walk in the morning, and I wanted to just touch base with you briefly. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, it's a chilly one today. It's about only 14 degrees high, but I wanted to go for a walk. I've not been for a walk for about a week because the last week was quite cold, but now I'm just getting out there. It's good to get some fresh air. The topic, as you see, and I'll put the picture up, the ongoing crisis in South Africa. There are two parts to this thing, and we're going to try and talk about it. Currently, the South Africans, there is one issue that we need to talk about. The first one, please, to all South Africans, Black South Africans in particular, you need to deal with and finally confront the land issue. The land issue is your problem. Immigrants are not your problem. Black African immigrants are not your problem. There is enough land. There is enough land for you to feed yourself. That is the number one problem you face. There is enough land. But here's the real issue with that land. 73% of your farmland is in the hand of those who say they are South Africans like yourself, but they are not allowing you. Greetings and welcome. Welcome. Yeah, thank you very much. Step Hinses and something again, sorry. Molara Olubumi, thank you very much. Yes. So, look, Black Africans are not your problem. South Africans, Black Africans are not your problem. Your problem is that 72% of your farmland, listen, every South African, 72% of your farmland is in the hands of those who colonized you. You need to understand that. You have to address that issue. That is the top priority. It is not your fellow Africans. Don't forget, we are all suffering the same issues. The colonials have got their fingers, their hands around our neck on the whole of Africa in one way or the other. And what they are doing in making you blame the immigrants in African countries for your problem is to not deal with the problem that you face. 72% of your farmland should be available to 62 and 80% of the population, which is the Black population. That's the problem. That is the problem right there. So you need to address that, South Africans, first and foremost. I'm speaking directly to the South Africans who are unemployed, who have not been told the facts. Some of your leaders they're playing a game. 72% of your farmland is in the hands of those who oppressed you or their grandchildren. And you need to address that issue. That is injustice right there. If you ignore that problem and then you start going and chasing your fellow immigrants out, you're not solving the problem. Okay, let us say you chase them out. Let's say you chase the immigrants out. Then what? You still have 70% of your land in the hands of the colonizers. And that still means that because you don't have access to that farmland, there is still going to be poverty in your land. So you see, The immigrants are not a problem. What they are doing is they are using the immigrants as a cover to prevent you from confronting the real problem. And the real problem is that South Africa has been, Black South Africans have been oppressed in their land. And until you have the strength to confront this issue head on, you're not going to solve the problem. The immigrant issue that you say, do you know that it's your government that is sponsoring some leaders in amongst you to say it's the immigrants that's causing lack of jobs? Do you know that? Because what's happening? If you listen to Julius Malema said it, you know, Julius Malema said it. Julius Malema said, he said, look, the government are using some people who they paid. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not giving the exact word. The government have used some people who they faced. Oh, I'm gonna wait. Go ahead. So go ahead. They've used some people who they have paid to infiltrate and to cause this problem because they don't want to be confronted. They don't want to be confronted with the fact. Greetings all. As you're coming in, please tap on the screen and share. Tap on the screen and share this broadcast. Help us reach more people. You're listening to CitizenAY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Now, Julius Malema, and Comrade Julius Malema of the EFF said that there are some people in government who have allowed some people who they paid in South Africa to start spreading this rumor that immigration is the problem, that it's immigrants who are taking away the jobs. It's not true. It's a lie. Already, before the immigrants are even on the scene, and we'll come and talk about that later on, before they've been on the scene at all, the people who are causing the biggest poverty in South Africa, those people, they are the white South Africans who are holding on to 73% of the land. And that land is not theirs. We have to be clear about that. Clear about that. If I was in Europe as a black man, if I'm in Europe as a black man, which I am in right now, and I hold any land, if I hold any land that belongs to the Europeans as a black man, do you know what would happen to me? I would already be in jail. They would not let that happen. That's a plain fact. That is straight facts. Right there. I want you to understand that. And I want you to understand that the grandfather for all of these South Africans who are taming land in Africa is none other than Cecil Rhodes. Cecil Rhodes comes from Bishop Stortford in England. I want you to understand that. Cecil Rhodes was born in Bishop Stortford, England. He's not South African. He has no right, no claim to that land. There's a museum for his place. I will do a video one day. I'm probably going to go there, but we'll see. You need to understand that all of the non-black so-called South Africans, they get their foundation from one man, Cecil Rhodes. Okay, you need to understand that. 1897, the Land Reform Act. You need to know this. You must know this. And the government is being controlled. And I will also tell you one more thing. Mandela was controlled. By the time Mandela came out from Robben Island, by the time he came out, he had been paid and bought by the system, by the Oppenheimers, by all of these people. He had been bought. He was a slave to the system. And what the system did was to make the whole world believe that Mandela was a hero. I had a guy, he was killed. I think it's one of the Eastern African countries. He said, if you hear me praising or walking with the colonials, they know that I have been paid. It is something like that, he said. And that is what was happening with Mandela. Mandela, they had to tell him, they told him, you have to drop the land issue. They told Mandela, and you will hear some people have spoken about this. It's not just me. I'll probably play a video one day. Mandela was told the only way he will be allowed to get out of prison alive would be if he gave up the land right. That's what they told Mandela. And that is what I'm saying. We have to understand. Yeah, they need to listen to Julius Malema. Absolutely. They need to listen to him. Exactly. So, and Julius Malema was always, they tried to destroy Winnie Mandela because they went to speak to Winnie Mandela and said, look, you have to give up. Your husband has given up. You have to give up. And that was why they divorced. That's why they separated. Winnie Mandela told her husband, no. This is our agreement to our people. This is not between you and me. This is our people. We promised them that we will never give up on the land. It's land or death. What's the effect? I'm paraphrasing. But unfortunately, and I can understand, there's something called human frailties. We understand. He's been in prison for over 20, 30 years. And he's tired. So they play the game. Some even say there are some unconfirmed reports that he may even have been out of there even a lot earlier than the time they told us. But hey, we don't know. We'll have to come up with that update as and when we get it. But the point I'm making is this: South Africans, for as long as you continue to confront the wrong people, the immigrants are not your problem. They are never your problem. The immigrants don't hold 72% of your land, of your farmland. There's over 60% of the population are impoverished. And that 60% are Black South Africans. Over 60%. And the land that they could have used to survive is in the hands of just 18% of the population. If that, which is the non-South Africans. They say they're South Africans, but they are non-South Africans. They're non-Black South Africans. And they are the ones who are causing you problems. They are controlling. The words of Cecil Rhodes, I want you to remember this. And I'm paraphrasing, I'll send the exact text out. Cecil Rhodes said, it must be made obvious to Black people that their role is to do menial work, manual labor for the rest of their lives. They will not be able to, they should not be able to own anything. They will be working. Their role is to work. Black people must be made to understand that their role is to work the field, to work manual work for the rest of their lives. They're meant to be laborers. That is it. I'm paraphrasing, but I'll give you the exact words later on when I get home. But that is the mentality that those who own land in South Africa is applying on you till today. If you look at it, anywhere you go in those 72% of the farmland, who are the ones working the land? Is it not Black people? I ask you. And that is what their grandfather, Cecil Rhodes, planned. And that is what they're taking out, the action they're taking out right now. So I say to you, every South African watching this, listen to the words of Julius Malema. Listen to the words of Julius Malema. Your government, the government's been instructed. Ramaphosa is a puppet of the system. I'm sorry to say it. They're playing a game of distraction. Ramaphosa is what? He's a puppet of the system. The system are instructing Ramaphosa what to do. Ramaphosa what to do. Every step he takes. So here's what they've done to you, South Africans. What they did was first, They undercut the workers to control South Africans. This is what you need. This is a double whammy. Listen intently. What they did was right. We need to control South Africans, Black South Africans. We needed to remember what our grandfather, Cecil Rhodes, said. It must be made, impressed upon them that they're to work as laborers, manual work, that they're not to own anything, that land doesn't belong to them. This is a man that is born in Bishop Stortford in the UK, saying this to Black South Africans, and the descendants of this man are taking that action till date. 60% of the population of South Africans are in manual labor. You need to understand that, Black South Africans. And if we have truly honest Black South Africans, you need to spread this message to your community that the grandfather of the colonizers, Cecil Rhodes, said that you and your ancestors, sorry about that. Oh God. Oh God. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. A call came in. Apologies. I'm back. Yeah. Yeah. So greetings. So please, South Africans, you need to understand. I say again, South Africans, you need to understand. Cecil Rhodes from Bishop Stortford, UK, England, who made himself who he named Rhodesia in his name until it was taken from him. He managed to get into South Africa because of the gold that they saw and the land. Decided your fate. Black South Africans, understand this. Please get this message. Cecil Rhodes decided, an European, decided your fate, that you will be nothing more than laborer on the land of your own ancestors. You understand what I'm saying? So this is not about immigrant, Black South Africans, Black Africans. These Black Africans are your friends. They are in this struggle with you. When you go and unalive, right. When you go and do what you're doing, and you take the life of Black Africans, this is self-hate. This is xenophobia. Like Julius Malema said, I say it again, take the words of Julius Malema to heart. Julius Malema said the right thing. The government of South Africa is behind this agitation. And the government of South Africa is being controlled by the people, by the 18% of the population that holds on to 72% of your farmland. Let me say that again slowly. The government of South Africa is being controlled by the 18% from the 18% of the population that controls 72% of your land. You have to understand that. You have to really understand that this is what's going on. And it's time for you, as an African, Black South African, to wake up and stop fighting your fellow Africans. Stop it. Stop taking on your fellow Africans. Fellow Africans have worked and come to your aid. Made sure that many of the people who were able to get out and speak, Nigeria, we were paying money. The civil service of Nigeria was paying money to support ANC and others. Now, we can go into the details about everything else. But what I want you to know, South Africans, is to stop killing each other. You're doing the work of the colonials. The colonials actually do not see South Africa as one land. The colonials are after the entire Africa. You saw what Macron said. Macron said, I am a pan-Africanist. Oh, I laugh. Macron said, I am a pan-Africanist. Forgetting, or at least thinking that we will not remember, that in 15 African countries, France have been stealing, get this, 500 billion euros a year from 15 African countries. So tell me how he's a Pan-Africanist. I need you to understand that you may think the Europeans in South Africa are separate from France. They're not. Because there's one word you need to remember. They are all Europeans. They are all having the same agenda. And they are not showing you. So we need to educate our population in South Africa that the game that they're playing is to deflect. They control the government. The South African government is controlled by the colonials. They are controlled by the 18% of the population. And you, as a South African, must get control. When 62% of the population are in poverty, and the land, 18% of the land is in the hands of non-Africans, that is the problem right there, staring you in the face. Please, if you're a South African, you speak good English, you need to tell the people in your community what the problem is. This is the real problem. If you don't deal with that problem, yes, fine. How many of the population of 62 million, or say, let's say 50, 60 million, how many of them are immigrants? They're not up to 2 million. So let's say they all go. Let's say they all go. Just remember, the land issue will remain. And it is you, we will support you in dealing with that land issue. That is the issue. The land. The land is what they are. They came for your land. And they are following in the footsteps of their grandfather. Nothing has changed. Since 1897, nothing has changed. You hear me? I hope you're hearing me. 1897, they took the land. For you to be able to vote in 1897, you had to have money. But you weren't allowed to have access to money how do they put it? You weren't allowed to have land. And for you to have land, they had to be passed by the government. Who gave them the right? The land belonged to you and your ancestors in the first place. The Land Reform Act stole your land. Until today, every South African is suffering from that singular act of Cecil Rhodes. That Land Reform Act is still in play. Don't blame immigrants. Yes, I am an immigrant, but I need you to understand, I'm actually doing this for your favor. And I'm supporting what Julius Malema said. I will play the video. I'll come on another broadcast and we'll talk about this. I will play the video of when Julius Malema said what he said, that the government of South Africa are playing name. They're the ones behind this immigration crisis, because they've been told. 1 second, please. Give me a minute. Sorry. This cold is bugging me. Sorry. I didn't realize it's still there like this. Sorry. Yeah. So they've been told the South African government are in the hands of, they are very much in the hands of the colonizers. So they are steering and controlling this issue here. So, number one task for every South African, if you're a good English speaker, or you speak French, or whatever the language that you were of those who colonized you, please, if you're speaking, you need to be speaking in your people, telling your people in your local language this fact. That land belongs to you and your ancestors. Cecil Rhodes and his descendants came to steal the land from you. They still own 72% of that land till date. You need to remember that. They still have taken control of 72% of that land. And 60% of you are impoverished, because Cecil Rhodes said that his descendants must treat you in your own land like laborers. Oranje, is it Oranje? There's a place called Orania. Black people are only allowed to work there as laborers. Go and check it. Orania. Yes, you heard me say it. I do research. I don't just come and talk. Orania. And there are other places as well. And the system makes it, they put even people who are non-South Africans, black South Africans, in positions that black South Africans cannot get to in South Africa. This is psychology now. This is about psychology. And I want you all to wake up to this. Please, as you're coming in, give us a thumbs up. Thank you very much. You're listening to CitizenAY, the platform where we speak truth to power. So, these are, you can see now, the real problem is not immigrants. The real problem is the fact that your land has been taken from you illegally. Now, you have the power to take the land back, but you need to involve the 60% of the population. Let them know their language. Tell them what I am telling you in their language, so they will know where to direct their efforts. Like I said, if they're saying they're going to chase immigrants away, okay, I think the immigrant population is up to 1 million. Okay, let's say it's 2 million. Let's say it's 2 million, right? Let's just say it's 2 million of the population. Let's say that, for example, I don't know exact figures of South Africa. I think it's about 60 million or so. Let's just say it's 2 million. Let's even say it's 5 million, if you want to talk. They don't own 72% of that land. They haven't got control of that land. That land is controlled by 18% of the population who are non-South Africans. Remember, I said to you, Cecil Rhodes was born in Bishop Stortford in UK. There is a museum for Cecil Rhodes celebrating him in the UK. I will do a video. I'll go there one day and I will do a video. And I want to show you so that you South Africans can understand. You need to know your history. If you don't know your history, this is what happens. They will tell you lies and they will make you fight people who are your friends. And they will make you take enemies as your friends. They will make you fight people who are your friends and family. And they will make you like people who are your enemies in perpetuity. And that is the situation that we face right now in South Africa. So I want every South African to please take this to heart. If you are English speaking, go and look up online. Google is your friend, Cecil Rhodes. Type in where was he born? Type it in yourself. It will show you Bishop Stortford. So you need to know this. So stop attacking immigrants. You have to stop black immigrants. They are not the ones. They are not your problem. You can never, for as long as 72% of the land that you need, your farmland, is in the hands of those who say they are fellow South Africans. So much for their being fellow South Africans. If they are fellow South Africans, those land, they will be released to feed, to make sure there's enough food, there's enough land for people to build and grow. If you are one family, they tell you, oh, we are one South Africa, rainbow colors. That's a trick. That's a trick that you need to wake up from. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. Wake up. It's time to snap out. You need to confront this injustice head on. The problem is not immigrants. The problem is, and I state it, are those who are holding on to 72% of your farmland. That farmland alone, you can grow food, you can build, you can have businesses. Why is it that they've conditioned you to accept that all you will ever amount to in your life is being a farmer and being a laborer, and you're willing to accept that? No. You must absolutely 100% reject it. And I'm here to tell you, please remember that fact. Now, I'm going to come back and talk about that fact again on the live broadcast, a second live broadcast later on today. But I want you to also remember that they are using the immigrants to undercut you. You are both being used. They say, okay, oh, you're asking for too much money. They've taken your land. Listen, these people have taken your land. And they know that they've conditionally get you to accept that you don't own your own land. they've mentally got 72% of the population to accept that they don't own the land of their ancestors. I need you to understand this. The colonials who are running that place have got the Black South Africans to accept that 72% of the population don't have a right to their land. And then they're saying, okay, you are going to be liberal. We will pay you. They tell you, we will decide what you get paid. And on top of that, they now said, oh, by the way, you're asking for too much money. So you know what? Keep asking. We are now going to bring in immigrants. The government, with all these private companies and everything else, has got them in to undercut you. All of it is to reinforce the mental idea that you have no right to your land. You need to understand this. And you need to explain this to your people in your Xhosa language or Zulu language to your communities. It is when you all stand together and get this land back, that is when you will have peace and tranquility and wealth back in your land. Your gold reserves, they are not in your hands. Those in government are being paid off by their puppets. Ramaphosa and others, they are puppets. You need to understand that. And I hope many people get this message. But I'm going to have to switch to, let me spend a few minutes here. I have to switch to I can't use the headphones anymore because the battery's about to go. I don't want it to go. So I spent 5 minutes or so here talking. But give me 1 second. I hope it doesn't die out on me because the battery is about to go. Can you hear me? I hope you can. So I'm trying to check the battery so it doesn't go. If the battery is not here, then we got a problem. I don't want it to go and do that. So it's important that you actually come together within your community and you deal with these issues head on. Okay? You must deal with these issues head on. You cannot, give me a minute, please. You have to deal with these issues head on. I'm doing this. I hope you can, is it charging? I think it is, yeah. So I'm going to hold the glasses for now because I want to see what I'm doing. The sun has just come out, which is good. So we need to make sure that the struggle right now, people are going out with the Zulu sticks against fellow Africans. That is xenophobia. That is deep self-hate right there. That is deep self-hate. And this is not something that we must allow to stand. As South Africans, you have to stand with your fellow brothers. We stand with you. Immigrants, no question, we stand with you. But we cannot stand with you when you're taking our lives. We cannot do that. You have to understand that what is going on right now is a trap. It's a way to deflect you from taking action. The real issue is your land. And unless and until you stand together and you take back that land, it is your land. Never forget that. But they've made you to believe that you don't have a right to the land. And they've conditioned you to accept it. Generations have accepted that they will never own their own land. And that is not true. That's a lie. That is a big lie that you must completely reject. South Africans, I'm here to tell you, please, wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Don't turn on your brothers and sisters. Right now, there is more of you. Yeah, sorry about that. Apologies. Yeah, we're back again. Back again. Yeah. So, please, I need you to understand, this is very, very important. We have to put an end to this bloodshed. It is not right that Africans are allowing Africans. It is not right. It's not acceptable. We need to direct your energy to the right place. And it's not even for violence. I'm not in violence. I'm just interested in you claiming your land back. I'm not interested in violence. I'm not interested in you. Let me just stay here for a few minutes. I'm not interested in any violence against anybody. But I'm interested in making sure that Black South Africans understand that the problem they are facing is not immigrants who are barely 1% of the population. I don't even think the immigrants are even 1% of the population. I may be wrong. I'll try and get the data out on that. But my understanding that the population, let's even say that they're even 1%, yeah, of the population. I don't even think they are, and I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it that they are 1% of the population. I don't think they're even up to that. The fact remains, they don't have access to 73% of the farmland. You need to understand that. Let's just say you're saying it's immigrants. Immigrants do not have control of 73% of your farmland. You understand? This is very, very important to understand. And again, those who gave the colonials the right to tell them that you would only ever be a manual laborer in your own land. Who gave them that right? You didn't give them that right. They took the land from you by force. They took your birthright, your blood right. They took it from you by force. So don't let anybody, this history is not what they want you to know. Your land, you being landless right now, was as a result of force. Land taken from you by force, by the colonials, who now said, oh, we are also South Africans now. By the way, we are South Africans, but you don't have access to the land. Keep in mind, the condition remains the same. They're saying they are South Africans, but the land that they took from you, they never, ever returned. They haven't returned it. 72% of your farmland is still in their hands. And that means you cannot feed yourself. That means that you cannot be able to provide for your family. That means that you don't have generational wealth. Let me explain what generational wealth means. Generational wealth means that you have a property, a land that makes money from you. So your generation, your ancestors, your grandfather, your father, your mom, they got married, they have family, they have a house, they have a lot of land. When they pass on, the land comes to the children. In South Africa, 72% of the population don't have that. 72% of the population only have the how can I put it? They have, the only thing they're transferring is poverty. 72% of the South African population are transferring generational poverty from one generation to the next. It's important to understand this. 72% of the population, Black South Africans, are transferring. They are transferring generational poverty from one generation to the next since 1897. You know? Well, you can say that. Let them look. I hope if you, Monica Alechima, I don't know who that is. All I am saying is that the idea that immigrants are the ones causing poverty, to preventing South Africans getting jobs, is just not true. The people who are preventing South Africans getting jobs are those who are telling you that you are only ever able to be a laborer in your land. Look at Orania. I'll keep saying it. In Orania, the only time Black people get to go to the, and this is, Orania is a South African land, Black people's land, but it was taken over. And then now, the only time you will see a Black person in Orania is when they're a laborer. Go and look at it. And right now, the government don't give Black farmers subsidies. To my knowledge, according to, this is happening right across Africa anyway. This is another thing you need to look at. So the government is not actively helping people that have been made to become generationally impoverished by the colonial system. The government is not attending to that problem. The government is being controlled by those who created that generational poverty. The government of South Africa is being controlled by those who created that generational poverty. I need you to understand that. The government is talking to you about, oh, yes, we're going to work on this. Yes, we're democracy. I need you to understand that democracy is a tool of exploitation. Straight up. Democracy is a tool of exploitation. Because whilst people are busy focused on the idea of their so-called democracy, the real business of looting and taking your land is taking place right before your eyes. This is what is happening right across Africa. And that is why we support Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, General Chiani of all of the AES, Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, Assimi Goïta of Mali, and General Chiani of Niger. They are doing the fantastic work that needs to happen in Africa. We have to take control of our land. We are sovereigns of the African continent. And for too long, our sovereignty has been taken away from us. We've been told, what was it this man said? One time they told us to close our eyes. We had the land. Then when they told us to close our eyes, by the time we opened our eyes, they gave us the Bible and they had the land. That is what is happening in Africa right now. And thankfully, we have great heroes like Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, General Chiani of the AES. They are making you know, as an African, and this is a message for South Africans, that you have a right to your land. No question. You are a descendant of great warriors. Zulus are great warriors, and the others. There are many people who fought and fought and fought and defeated these people over and over. It is time for your generation to get back your land. No question. I would equally be speaking like this vehemently for any group of people who are being oppressed in Europe. So the coincidence is whether or not that I'm a Black person speaking about this. But the fact of the matter is that this is not right. And if you focus on immigrants, you are playing their game. You are playing their game. Immigrants are not your problem. They are using immigrants to oppress you, and they're provoking the very thing that you're doing now so that they can say, they will come and say, oh, look, yeah, we know. Well, we are with you. It's the immigrants. But the people who are taking your land, they are still on that land, and they are not paying for it. It is time that we speak about this. It is not a willing buyer, willing seller, all of that nonsense. It's all words to keep you in the same position. You can't, South Africa is a wealthy nation. The resources that you have, by dint of the resources alone, none of you should be in poverty, period. By dint of the resources that you possess in South Africa, none of you should be in poverty. But what is going on is engineered. Because if 73% of the population truly care about South Africans, the first thing they will do is make sure that that farmland is open to everybody to be able to feed the nation, to be able to change the demographic of the nation so that everybody feels part of the society, part of the nation. You are South African, they say, as a Black person, but you don't have access to land rights. This is the thing that we are saying here. You know, they say you are South African, but then when it comes to the land, oh, no, you are just a laborer. The same words. I will bring that exact quote out from Cecil Rhodes. And that was said in 1897. And in 2026, 60% of the population of South Africa that are Black people are nothing but manual laborers, as directed by Cecil Rhodes. His descendants who are telling you, oh, let's forget about the past, are enjoying the benefits of him defining your role in South Africa as a laborer that's working for them. That's the reality of it. That's the reality we're saying. So, my fellow South African brothers, listen to Julius Malema. Julius Malema is telling you the right thing. I do have some concerns and questions and disagreements with Julius Malema about what certain things he said about the AES, but I'm saying it to you now. On this issue of this land issue, you have to make sure you listen to him, because he knows that this land issue is being covered up by this immigration issue. They are using it as a smokescreen to never get you to confront the real issue. The land issue must be confronted by every Black South African. Stand up for your rights. Tell your fellow South Africans the real issue. Don't fall for the trick. The government is a puppet government. Ramaphosa is controlled by those who have taken control of the land. He's not in power. He's a puppet. He's being controlled. His government is under the control of those colonizers who took your land, and they're refusing to give the land. Remember, like I said, the immigrants don't own 70% of your land. The immigrants do not own 72% of your land. They don't. The Black immigrants don't own 72% of your land. The people who own 72% of your land, they say they're South Africans, but they don't care that you are in poverty. They're not looking at solving your problem of poverty. So the only way you can solve this poverty problem in South Africa, and in many African countries, we're going to be saying, I'm saying it now, I'm saying it across Africa, we need our people to begin to participate in their governance. Because without people knowing their rights in their local language, listen, I'm not just saying this as talk. In Nigeria, where I'm from, I am part of a group of people, and I've started printing out the Constitution of Nigeria in local languages, because I recognize that our local people do not participate in the governance, and that is the design of this democracy. The design of the democracy that they talk about is designed to make sure that majority of us have no knowledge of our rights in our nation. Our rights, the certain rights that we have over our government to control them and demand for things to change. It is designed that way. This is by design. This is not by accident. This is not happenstance. This is by design. So you will see that out of the 60% of the population that are in poverty in Black South Africa, probably 90% of them don't even know the history of their land and how they became impoverished, how they became in poverty in the land of milk and honey. They don't know this history. They don't know that the government is actually responsible to actually provide things to them, because they have not been taught that. All they've been taught is this thing about religion and all this nonsense about whatever, and just serve the god of the colonizer. So we have a lot of work to do. So I'm speaking from a place of knowledge. I'm not just here coming to say, oh, because we need to understand as Africans that what appears to be different problems is actually the same problem, but it's being made to appear different problems. The main problem is that those who don't own our land are in control of our land. And that is why you see Macron calling 30 African government leaders to come to Kenya and to listen to him say he is a Pan-Africanist. Pan-Africanist my foot. Pan-Africanist my foot. This is the same France that's been taking 500 billion euros every year from 15 African countries. And then when Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, when they kicked France out of this of the AES, they kicked them out. The same France, as he was talking to you about, I'm a Pan-Africanist, he was organizing terror groups to go and take over power in Mali. And then he said, oh, because France is not there, the terror groups are now, they're getting stronger. But what he didn't tell us, what he doesn't tell you, is that the terror groups that he's talking about are being trained by the same France, by the same colonials, all over Africa. This terror, anywhere you see terror in Africa, they are instruments of control by the colonials to ensure that they have access to our land on the African continent. So do not take anything that Macron says as gospel. It's a lie. He's not a Pan-Africanist. They are all working together. Their goal is to strip Africans off our land, to make us to make us slaves in our own land, to make us not own anything on our land, and they have control. And that also includes you in South Africa. You can do and must do what Zimbabwe did. Zimbabwe took back their land. They took it back, despite all of the pressure. Let me tell you something about Zimbabwe. The British government under Thatcher and Reagan came to an agreement when they signed independence. The agreement was that those farmers that were going to be that land, the UK would pay something like 750 million pounds, and under Reagan, they would pay $1 billion as compensation to the government for those farmers to keep that land. You can check, don't take my word for it, George Young, the UN secretary at the time, stated this many, many years after. Go and look at the report. Just type in George Young and you will get what I'm saying. And this was called the Lancaster Gate Agreement that Mugabe mentioned. Mugabe is a hero. I said it. Mugabe is a hero of Africa. Idi Amin is a hero. But you will see all the films and everything they portray about Black Africans is negative. Why aren't they doing programs about King Leopold of Belgium and how he killed 30 million Africans? Why haven't they ever made a film about that? Ask yourself. This is a man that killed 13 to 20 million Africans. But there's no film made about him. No film made about King Leopold. No film anywhere. They don't want to talk about that. But they're going to say that Idi Amin and Mugabe are terrible, the horrible people. What about King Leopold? What about Eisenhower, who authorized the killing of Lumumba? When you're listening to these people, you need to be asking questions. We need to be asking questions. All of this I'm saying is to go back to this central point that as a South African, you need, if you are versed and knowledgeable as a South African, you need to share this knowledge with your community so that they understand that the 72% of the 18% of the population that is controlling 72% of the land, there are nothing but colonizers that must be confronted to improve the lives of 62% of the population that are impoverished right now. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. It is very, very important. As you're watching, please give us a thumbs up. Help us reach more people. I do apologize for the breaks in transmission now and then, but it is what it is. I'm going to come back and give you, I'm coming back with that quote from Cecil Rhodes, the exact quote. And if you look at that quote and look at what is happening to 72% of the population in South Africa, it is an exact fit. It is precise to the millisecond in how precise this thing is. It is precise to the millisecond. And it is time that those who know in South Africa tell those who don't know about what Cecil Rhodes said. Because if you don't spread that message, they will continue to spew lies about immigrants to keep you from ever confronting the injustice of the land, of you being a laborer in your own land, while those who have nothing to do with your land own the land of your ancestors. It's very important we speak truth to power. You are listening to CitizenAY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Thank you so much for listening to me. I'll be coming back and doing the second part, but I just wanted us all to know, South Africans, just a quick recap. Don't forget, as we speak, 72% of your land is in the hands of non-African immigrants. 72%. Black Africans own 0% of your land. Black Africans own 0% of your land. So your problem are not Black Africans. Your problem are the non-Black South Africans that own 72% of your land. And they are not releasing it to you to do as you please to live a better life. They do not want you to ever be able to lay claim back to your land. The problem you face in South Africa is the land issue. It has always been a land issue, and they don't want you to confront it. You now have the opportunity. You do this for the coming generation. Ibrahim Traore took over power from from all of the crooks in power because he wanted these people to have a better life. Right now in Burkina Faso, the largest hospital in West Africa is in Burkina Faso right now. I'll do a program about that also. The largest hospital in West Africa is in Burkina Faso. And that only happened after the Burkina Faso kicked out the French. Go check it up. It only happened after Burkina Faso kicked out the French. The gold reserves of Burkina Faso have gone from, 25 tons to 95 tons, and maybe even more. And they keep control of their resources in Burkina Faso. They are in control of their own resources. They run everything. The government is run by Burkinabes. The people who are building the property, building the roads are by Burkinabes. The people who are flying the drones are Burkinabes. The people who are in the farms are Burkinabes. They build cars in Burkina Faso. They build phones in Burkina Faso. That's a model we all need to look at. So in closing, please, those of you watching, don't forget, as you're watching us, give us a thumbs up, help us reach more people. You are listening to CitizenAY, the platform where we speak truth to power. We need your support to grow this platform. We need to reach a much more wider audience because of the message that we're sending. We stand on truth. We speak truth to power, and we endeavor to enlighten and encourage us all to know the real history and the real facts that have been hidden from us for so long as Africans. We need a better Africa. Africa must be for Africans. And when I say Africans, I mean Black Africans. I'm being specific. Africa must be for Africans. For too long, Africans have been denied the rights to our land, to enjoy the benefits our land provide. We must reverse that. South Africans, you have a role to play in that. And those of you who are in the know, spread this message. The message, the narrative of Cecil Rhodes, where he says that it must be made known, made apparent to Black people, I'm paraphrasing, that they are only ever going to be manual laborers in their own on that land. That land doesn't belong to them. That is what Cecil Rhodes said. So in closing, I'll be back later on. Thank you so much. You've been listening to CitizenAY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Please share this message. Black South Africans, your problem are not immigrants. Your problem is the 72% of your land in the hands of those who colonized you, the descendants of those who colonized you. Until you solve the land problem, South Africa will never be just and fair. Until you solve the land problem where the 72% of you get back your land, nothing will change. I hope you found this beneficial. Do leave your comments. Let's hear from you. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Help us reach more people. Thank you for listening. You've been listening to CitizenAY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Don't forget to subscribe, hit notification button, and of course, give us a thumbs up. Thank you, and bye for now. Bye, guys. Bye. Thank you. Bye.